Have you ever seen a shot that looks kind of weird and perhaps trippy? No, it's not a special effects done in post-production. It's just playing with the science of perspective. This is known as the Dolly Zoom, or as most people call it, the Vertigo Effect.
The vertigo effect is a shot where the foreground stays the same while the background shrinks or grows. This shot was developed by cameraman Erman Roberts and director Alfred Hitchcock, and was first used in Hitchcock's film Vertigo. This type of shot has many names: the reverse tracking shot, Dolly, forward zoom reverse tracking shot, contra zoom, telescoping, stress shot, and the trombone shot. However, the most common names for this shot are the vertigo effect and the Dolly Zoom. The purpose of the shot is to increase or create a feeling of tension, unreality, or fear. An example of this is in the 1975 film Jaws. In this example, the cameraman focuses on Chief Brody. The foreground stays the same and the background shrinks. This creates a sense of fear as Brody realizes he should have closed the beach. On the left is a dolly in, and on the right is a clip of a zoom in. They are different in that in the dolly in shot, the surrounding objects are affected by the perspective distortion caused by the camera movement, while the zoom in shot just magnifies the image. As you can see, combining these two techniques creates a cool effect of a stationary foreground and moving background. The dolly zoom creates an effect of zeroing in on a subject. In order to perform a dolly zoom, you will need to dolly forward or backwards, and then zoom the opposite direction. If you were to dolly in, then you would zoom out at the same time. If you were to dolly out, then you would zoom in at the same time. It is important to dolly and zoom at similar speeds to get the correct effect. One piece of equipment that will make this easier is the Dolly Track. This provides a smooth dolly and more range to work with. It is also easier to adjust your speed when using this. However, you can still perform the vertigo effect without a dolly track, but the video will be shaky and it will be more difficult to do as shown here. Instead of using a dolly track, you could just walk towards or away from the subject. If you are using this method, it is important to try to keep the camera as steady as possible and match your speed with the zoom of the camera.
Another alternative for dollying is using a swivel chair with wheels. It is better than walking, but obviously it's not as good as the dolly track. This method will require two people manning the chair, one sitting and operating the camera, and the other pushing or pulling the chair. This technique may still cause the shots to be a little shaky, and the chair may not always move in a straight line. But nonetheless, it is still important to match the zoom speed with the dolly speed like a normal vertigo shot.
It would also be good to have a camera or a device that has a slower zoom capability, so that you have more control over the camera zoom speed. This technique does require a bit of practice and time to achieve. This is because it's quite difficult to match the zoom speed of the camera with the dolly speed. There are a few important things to remember when shooting the dolly zoom. First, the foreground stays the same while the background changes. If this is not the case, then you are doing the dolly zoom incorrectly. Second, dolly and zoom speed should be similar. This will enable the foreground to stay the same and the background to either shrink or grow. Third, dolly and zoom in opposite directions. If you were to dolly in, then you would zoom out. If you were to dolly out, then you would zoom in. Lastly, dolly tracks are very helpful. These provide a smooth dolly and a better management of speed.